today? Exactly. All our prayers are answered. Ange mic.
अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम राम दशरथ नंदन राम। पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन 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 राम। दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम राम दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम राम दशरथ नंदन राम। पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन 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 राम। अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम। पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम। श्री राम दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम। पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन सीता मोहन सीता मोहन सीता मोहन सीता मोहन
Thank you. All announcements. One announcement. Tomorrow, after the evening class, I'll be seeing people, not after the morning class. Okay? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Here's a very nice question. If we need to learn not to blame ourselves or others, where to put the blame? Everybody has this question. Very popular question. And then how do we keep ourselves and others accountable? Two-part question. First is, I'm not allowed to blame myself. That's what you said, and that's what you keep saying. And then I'm not allowed to blame others also. Then who should I blame? You only tell. And then where should I put the blame? Very good. And then only by blame, the second assumption is that only by blaming we keep people on their toes. See, many people are agreeing. It's a very popular question. That's why I took it up first. So, if I say, hey, why did you do this? How could you have done that? These are your omissions. These are your commissions. Then the other person is attention, is held accountable. That's the idea. However, we are not, hopefully, operating on this realm. We are slowly getting out of this realm. First, let's answer the accountable part first. It's not, we can write this on a mirror and see this every day. It's not my business to keep other people accountable. This is what it is. Truth. Satyam idam. Unless that person, unless it happens to be a child. A child is not, the definition of the word child is not according to the Hindu parenting parameters. Where even a 60-year-old is called child by the 80-year-old parents. Child means not yet an adult, and you are directly responsible for this being. You have to give it some home training. You have to tell it what not to do, what to do. You are playing the role of a parent. Then you can say, you need to be accountable to me. You have to do this. That's the only real place. Now, what about life partner? Well, if you have to keep always trying to keep the life partner in line, it's a very exhausting thing, really. Many marriages or partnerships That's how they are conducted. Each one tries to keep the other in line, and somehow 50 years elapse in this way. That's not ideal. What do we do in the meditation? What do we say? Give the person to be who they, the freedom to be who they are. Give them the freedom. But that impinges on my freedom. If I give them the freedom to be who they are, that impinges on my freedom. This is what the problem is. This too is a perception. If it impinges on the freedom, then you have a conversation. Depends on how and to what extent. It's not that one has to be a mat by the door. One is not a doormat. This is not a invitation for somebody to clean their feet on another person. It's not about being a doormat. I have healthy boundaries, and I'm not afraid to express my needs, desires, wants. But I have absolutely no say in whether those needs, wants, and what else, desires, dreams are going to be fulfilled or not. I can express them, but I don't know if they will be fulfilled or not. Maybe I can browbeat the other person into being what I want them to be. But how long will that last? That's why in our tradition, the emphasis is on the concept of duty, duty rather than rights. It's a duty based dharma. I'm only accountable for myself. As a son or a daughter, this is what I have to do. It's kind of clear. This is what I have to do. And then when one grows up to have one's own children, this is what one has to do. As a life partner, someone in a committed relationship like marriage, etc., this is what one has to do. It is a duty based tradition, completely opposite to the West, which is a rights based tradition. In the West, it's all about fighting for my rights. You didn't do this, therefore I will sue you. That's why it's a very litigious society, because those rights have to be forcibly brought to attention. They have to be enforced. That's why there is so much litigation. I have to fight for my rights. In India, or at least in the tradition, in the ancient times, now things are changing a lot. It was duty based. The duty of the parents towards the child would automatically become the rights of the child, would fulfill the rights of the child. The duty of the child towards its parents would automatically translate into the rights of the parents. Same way with partners in life and friends, employers, employees, neighbors. So, this way, I am accountable for myself. I'm not accountable for anybody else, because that's a very sad thing. Always minding somebody else's business. Very boring it is. And frustrating also, both for oneself and for the other. So, looking at the question again, how to bring about accountability. Keep yourself accountable. This is true. If you are doing your duty as a prayer to Bhagavan, this becomes Karma Yoga. That's how you keep yourself accountable. You don't have to keep other people accountable. In fact, it's better that we don't do that. This is very nice. Where should I put the blame? Bhagavan, very easy, very simple. Because nobody else is going to listen to your blame. If you blame the significant other, as one is tempted to do, then the word significant will drop. What is left? Other. That's what will happen. Same thing if you blame the mother, the letter M will drop. It will be just other. What happens if I blame the father? Well, he will go farther and farther. That's what that's what will happen. So therefore, there's no, blame means what? And you can't, you think that, okay, these are the people who caused. First of all, the no blame, lecture, whenever it happened, I forgot. The no blame lecture, a little bit of context to the no blame lecture. The no blame lecture came as a way of spiritual growth, emotional maturity. And it is coming very close to Vedanta. Because when I blame somebody, that means what? I'm not looking at the whole picture. I'm just looking at a small slice. What is that slice called? There is a, what is that? Cross section. Like a cross sectional slice, I'm looking at. A small little thing, incident, out of context when I take, what happens? I blame somebody and say, you are the cause of all my problems. That's not even true. It's a subjective perception, it's not an objective reality. What is the objective reality? The objective reality is one's own karma. That's the reality. Because, if it's a friendship or something like that, an optional relationship, one can always walk away. But parents, siblings, all these things, we don't choose them. They're already there. Even before you were born, somebody was calling you child, somebody was calling you grandchild, somebody else was calling you sister, brother. And so therefore, one had already been claimed. Therefore, we have to see this from the big picture. It's the karmic profile. But most of the time we don't see the karma. We only see ik. That's all. Ik, I don't like it. Karmic it is. That somebody is in one's life and that this is how it is karmic. That person is not to blame. That person is a nimitta. Nimitta means an excuse for this particular karma to unfold. That's why in the Sri Rudram, the one who is in charge of nocturnal beings is praised. Nocturnal beings, not very good news. Why are they out and about at night? They want to bite or they want to rob. And they too are included in the order. This is what we have to understand. Even what I consider disorder is included in the order, which is Bhagavan, which is not a mandate of Bhagavan, but a manifestation of Bhagavan. This order is a manifestation of Bhagavan. The psychological order, starting with my own emotions. I don't like being sad. I don't like being angry. I don't like being upset. And as long as the ahankara, the I notion, owns up these emotions, then it's a very sad place. It becomes my anger, my loneliness, and what else? My sorrow, my fear. And already one is feeling, oh, I don't feel so good. Look at it. This is again a subjective reading. But look at it from the standpoint of the whole. Take any emotion, anger. Anger comes because a desire is thwarted. Bhagavad Gita psychology. The psychology in the Ragadvesha psychology in the Bhagavad Gita states as much. So then now we are not looking at my anger. What are we looking at? A universal Ishvara's law. And what is that law? Yatra yatra inhibited desire, tatra tatra anger. See, Sanskrit is so easy. Wherever there is the presence of an inhibited desire, there is what? Anger. Anger happens. Nobody wants to be angry. You ask anybody, would you like to be angry now? They will always say no. Anger comes, there is a reason. Now it's no longer my anger, it's an expression of a universal law. Same thing with sadness. There is no such thing as my sadness because in my mind, my emotions are part of the psychological order of the law, of the Lord, the goddess. There is a psychological order, it's a law. Given this background of neglect, abuse, trauma, that this person will grow up to be sad, isolated, unable to relate to others because of trust issues. This is a given. It does not no longer becomes my issue. It's I now with my ahankara, with my antahkarana. Now I'm just an expression of Bhagavan's law. This is very nice. I have not disowned the honor, the anger. I have not disowned the sorrow. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of a law. Less subjectivity, more objectivity. Less ahankara, less of me, and more of Ishvara. That is the way to go. Blame Ishvara. Just say, how could you do this to me? Your plan for my life is absolutely and utterly idiotic, and I do not agree one little bit. Change it right now. You can ask. In many other traditions, this would be blasphemy. In our tradition, it's a prayer. It's a total prayer. There are so many stories of mad saints who used to go, and there's one particular story of this mad saint who happened upon a abandoned Shiva temple out of town somewhere. It was in ruins and all, creepers and trees had grown over it. Nobody went there. In fact, some people even thought it was haunted. Not this man. Perhaps he was the haunting presence that other people were afraid of. I'm not sure. And he looked in the sanctum. What? You're sitting there. What do you want? You want Abhisheka? And then he would just gather up all the phlegm in the mouth and spit and say, here is your Abhisheka. He would spit directly at the linga. What are you looking at me like this for? You want flower now? After Abhisheka is finished. And he would just get some, I don't know, some kind of motley bunch of thorns and everything and throw at the linga. This was his quote unquote puja. And he was mad. It was not okay. And he would just say some choice 4-letter words and then come out. This was his daily practice without fail. Then the town grew, the village grew into a town and crossed the borders, and suddenly somebody said, "Oh, such a lovely temple. Oh, and look at this idiot, what he's doing. Such a lovely Shivalinga." All this time they didn't even know about it. Few people knew about it. Nobody went there. And then they decided to clean up the temple, give it a coat of paint, and do what we are going to do 17th, 18th, and 19th. Have a Kumbhabhishekam, a reconsecration of this temple. And so before that, this horror had to be gotten out of the way. What to do? They blindfolded the poor fellow and took him somewhere in the forest and released him. And took away the blindfold, of course. And then came the day of opening the doors, finally to have darshan. The door got stuck. The temple doors would not open. And all the priests tried, everybody tried, just wouldn't open. And the priest said there has just definitely been some kind of a terrible omission because the muhurtam, the auspicious time, is going by and the doors are not opening no matter how hard we try. What shall we do? The priest said, I'm going to sit in meditation. And the answer came, I want my best bhakta to open the door. Where to find him? The priest knew exactly what was wrong. Where to find him? So they went. Fortunately, he hadn't wandered far and he was just sitting wherever he had been released. They got him back. They said, we are very sorry. He was just fine. He came back. And then as soon as he said, oh, now you are hiding behind this door. And then the door opened on its own. So like this, there are stories. And they are not just to waste our time. There is a considerable emotional transformation when the bhakti is in the form of telling Bhagavan all the woes. And sometimes when you tell the difficulties, the anger comes, the fear comes, the sorrow comes. And it is safe. It's a safe presence. Bhagavan is not going to tell anybody else. No matter how much you trust anybody, you're afraid that in some duress, under some pressure, they will go and tell somebody. This is not going to happen. And you can tell whatever you want. Bhagavan is not going to judge you. Tomorrow also, after you told some terrible things today, tomorrow also you are greeted with that same smile and the hand that says, don't fear, I am here. That's who to blame. Okay. You can start today itself. Then, how to tell if one is avoiding sorrow versus not identifying it? Yeah, avoiding means disconnecting from it. Sometimes it is difficult to say. This is one of the ways in which there is a overlay of Vedanta to justify one's dissociation. Dissociation means I am not connected with my feelings. Why? Because it's not safe to express them. Either when as a child, when one expressed them, one was discouraged through scoldings, beatings, whatever. Or even if one was not discouraged, there was no room for the child's feelings because the adults were having meltdown all the time. And the child was parentified at a young age, and the child had to take over and be the mother and the father. No time for its own issues. So, therefore, it is unsafe and difficult to express the feelings. And so, what is the go to? I am fine. No matter when you ask, I am fine. Nothing is happening to me. I am okay. This is dissociation. This is different from a strategic disidentification. And the strategic disidentification, almost always, unless one is really has been studying Vedanta for a long time, almost always involves Ishvara, Bhagavan. This is a corollary to the second question, the first question. Almost always, involves bringing in Ishvara as an interim place of processing the emotions by seeing it as a manifestation of an order that is beyond just my emotions. After that, we can say, I consciously disidentify with this sorrow and fear because I am identifying as the Atma, which is free of sorrow and fear. But in the beginning, without settling accounts with Ishvara, this is what Pujya Swamiji's phrase. I have to settle accounts with Ishvara. Settling accounts means this, means being able to process the emotions in the light of a universal law and seeing that author of the universal law as non-separate from its manifestation, and see and forgiving myself in that, including myself in that. So there is no isolation, there is no dissociation, there is no loneliness, creating a certain safety to process the feelings, and then afterwards rising above them to say, I consciously eschew this sad story of myself as stricken with grief, because I am Atma that is not subject to grief. That is the second stage. First stage, we have to bring in Bhagavan into one's life. Oh, long one. Is life akin to the code we write, designed to yield outcomes as we desire? No. If so, must there be a repository for all memories, like the cloud? Without inherent logic, how do familial connections manifest in this life? Because of karma. That's what it is. Is there a repository where every memory from a lifetime is preserved? Yes. That repository without any borders is called Ishvara. If such a repository exists, how does a soul select its next body? It does not select the next body. Select only as though. Selection involves not going shopping somewhere in a celestial realm and saying, ooh, that body looks good, I'll have that. No. The selection, so to speak, is confined to what kind of desires one has. The desires in the past life, the strongest of the desires in the past life, clamor to be expressed first, immediately. And that's the kind of body that one gets. That's why I always joke. Don't desire things like bungee cord jumping and all that. Next life, definitely what? Spider. Yes. So any strong desire. So that's why when Vedanta becomes the strong desire, and there is no other option except to have a human body and a human mind. And of course, there are many, 8 billion human bodies and 8 billion human minds. But one here is blessed with an appropriate human body for Vedanta. What does that mean? One will be born in a family that is able to take care of itself so that you don't have to earn and be responsible for them. One is born in a family that has a, what is that called? That has very few issues, because the focus there is on inner growth. One is born in a family which has um, which has temples, shlokas surrounding, or it doesn't have to be always Hindu, it could be some other kind of a very dharmic background, religious background could be there. So then that kind of a body, because in the last life you desired Vedanta more than any other desire, and that kind of a body you selected. You didn't select, the desire selected. So that is the idea. You don't select. Your selection is just in the sense of expressing the desires. How does it remember its past life? It does not. Yes. That's why we keep doing the same, making the same mistakes. That's why there are sometimes deja vu. Pujya Swamiji always used to say that when he studied the Mundakopanishad, he had a deja vu. He felt it was familiar. He could kind of anticipate the next mantra. He had studied it before. So that's how it is. You don't always remember everything of your past life. Hardly anything, if ever. If the soul is unaffected by karma, why does the embodied being suffer the consequences of last lives? Because the body is a place where the karma expresses, number one. The main reason for the body to be taken on is so that the karma it's a karma sthana. It's a locus where the karma can express itself. In fact, the body is a product of karma. Number one. Two, the body is perishable. Perishability and suffering are not identical. There is something that gets lost in translation there, or some extra words are put in the translation there in order to make perishability into suffering. Somehow the ahankara gets involved, and that is always not a very nice thing, because it has muddied the waters here. So perishability means what? It is taking its course. It happens to everything, starting with a banana you got at the temple. You just keep it there and not eat it. First day banana, second day banana, third day banana, fourth day nana. Yes. Exactly. So that's what will happen. Everything that is born goes through these 6 modifications. It has to. It is born, it survives, it undergoes some positive changes, it grows up. And then what happens after it grows up? It blossoms, gets ready to reproduce. After that, it starts to show signs of wear and tear everywhere. And then finally, that's all. So the body going through its natural stages of whatever it is going through cannot be the cause of my suffering unless and until I misidentify myself as the body, and I think I am undergoing the changes. I am not. As you yourself expressed, I am free of the changes. I am the changeless witness, the changeless one. And so the changes are there, perishability is there, but perishability need not translate into suffering. For perishability to translate into suffering, there has to be a mistake, a misidentification with the body, the mind, the senses, etc. That's why we study Vedanta, so that we can have the right identification. Further, what methods exist to erase the accumulated karma? The eraser, is that what's called? Yeah, the eraser is called Vedanta Shravanam. Listening to Vedanta erases karma because it falsifies the one who says, this karma is mine, the doer. So if there is a, let's say a person is in terrible debt, owes a lot of money, and then dies away. Doesn't owe anything anymore. Same thing if a person has a huge bank account, dies away. Where does it go, really? Supposing there are no heirs. That's exactly the situation here. That's completely the situation here that we are looking at, because there is no taker of karma phala. Karma phala is for people who want that. Karma phala means results of karma. The one who owns up the results of karma as mine is the one who says, I have all this karma. That's why in this is coming from the evening and the afternoon class, I said the operative word is in the fourth verse, and ajnasya. Ajna. Ajna means the one who is ignorant of the self. For that person, there is suffering. For that person, there is a huge amount of karma, insurmountable amount of karma. But if we are committed to this study, that is already, as it were, getting erased. The more clarity there is, the more one gets out of the sense, the notion that I am the doer. And if I get out of the sense that I am the doer, then everything that is done also does not belong to me. That is how it is. The chef decides which dough ball to roll out, what sauce to spread, and what toppings to add. Yes, the chef is called Ishvara, and when to bake it. Correct. In real life, if the chef represents God, does he, or why he, we can also say he, she, dictate our choices? Or do we exercise free will to shape the pizza, our destiny? So, well, this is an interesting question. So, are we simply responding to the effects of past karma? First of all, we have to understand that this free will karma debate is just useless. Absolutely useless. And I'll tell you why. Very, very logical answer I have. Because what is karma? Oh, whatever I did in the past. And so, how did you do that? Using my free will. Okay. So, the karma that you call right now, oh my God, destiny, is actually your free will in the past life. Correct? Agree? Think about it. Yeah. Even if you don't agree, that's what it is. So, but you can think about it. So, the free will now is what? Is the karma, the karma now. I say, oh, this is karma from the past, this is my destiny. What you call destiny, because as soon as you say destiny, there is a feeling of somehow being in jail. Oh my God, there is no free will. But that's actually your free will. Your free will exercised either according to dharma or according to adharma has given punya or papa. So you're eating the leftovers from last life. That's all it is. And those leftovers were freely done, free will. So really speaking, It's not 90%, 10%, whatever you're saying. It's more in the sense of your own karma. Do we exercise free will? You have already exercised that free will in the past life. And now you are, using, you are eating the effects of that. I read somewhere that 90% of our lives goes in reacting to past actions. Yeah, possible. And only 10% that is either new or helps us stay neutral. Possible. I am here attending satsang due to past good karma. That is my good karma that you think that. Yeah. Not I am. Am I? Okay, yeah. Am I attending satsang due to past good karma? Or am I here because of free will? Free will, you and I are connected from past life. So, am I here attending satsang due to good karma, past good karma? Possible. If you are enjoying yourself, then it is good karma. If you are saying, why am I here? Then it's not good karma. Okay? Yeah. So the free will thing, even Lord Krishna does not answer at all. He just says, Gahana karmano gatihi. The ways of karma are rather mysterious. So that's what he says. The ways of karma are rather mysterious. Meaning, you can't say how much is, my free will. And how much you see, once when we enter into Vedanta, you can say everything I freely choose, or you can say everything is chosen by Ishvara and I'm going along with it. Both will take you to where you need to go. Doesn't matter, really. So that is what it is. And you and I are connected from past life. I have no idea. I don't deal with past lives because this life itself is plenty. Yeah. So then, what is the best way to deal with somebody who is suddenly acting unfriendly to you for no reason? First of all, there is a reason, okay? It's just that you don't know the reason. You don't know the reason. There must be a reason. Yeah, you don't know the reason. Okay. If somebody is acting unfriendly to you, who's no reason. Is it better to avoid the person like a river going around the mountain? Or is it better to try and resolve the conflict? You just said there is no reason. And now you're saying, now you're thinking that there may be some conflict. I agree with you. Yeah, there may be some conflict or something. Usually something that has been triggered in them. That's what it is. One's speech, one's demeanor, one's way of presenting oneself, one's way of being can and does trigger other people, even though you're just being yourself and going about your day. That is why one of the nice things to learn as we grow spiritually is to see, we talk about lessening the carbon footprint. But here it's about the footprint of disturbance. We shrink, make smaller and smaller our footprint of disturbance to the extent that we can. Sometimes it is unavoidable. When I go out, oh, you like orange. There is something created in the other person that they have to ask or tell or comment or justify it to themselves. That I cannot avoid. But I can choose to sit in a certain place where I'm not noticed as much. That's one thing we can do. And like this, we shrink our disturbance footprint. It's not that I have to walk on eggshells. We are not asking people to walk on eggshells. But one is leading a very mindful life. A mindful life is a happy life. A mindful life is a compassionate life. A mindful life is a life where I'm aware of my effect on other people. I don't just bulldoze my way into people's lives, unaware that I may be actually in the way. I may be actually causing some trouble here. So, this incidence in your life is an invitation to introspect and out of grow out of this mindlessness or whatever we want to call it, or grow out of something, but grow, I'm not getting the right word, but grow into being more awareful, being more mindful, being more present. Because here we see everything as Ishvara, that is the way of moksha. So the other person's feelings, everything is Ishvara. This doesn't mean that I'm codependent and I'm always worried about how people are thinking and feeling. That's not what it is. But it's a general awareness of everybody. I may choose not to do anything, but still I'm aware of it. And my actions become more and more deliberate and less accidental. My reactions mature into responses. Reaction means I don't have a choice, it's a gut level something. Response means there is a two step. Reaction, there is no step. Response, I'm aware of how I feel. I'm aware of how the other person might be feeling or thinking. I'm aware that I have a background because of which I may be triggered. I'm also aware that the other person has a background because of which they may be triggered. Again, I may not be equipped to change something, but I'm aware of it. And that awareness and the way one moves in life, this is this is why we just love jnanis. That's why saints and sages, people love to be around because of that. And so this is the reason. But then being around them is one thing, but emulating this is very good for us. It's a work in progress all the time, lifelong work in progress, to grow into somebody more and more sensitive, more clarity, more objectivity. It is said that one should not do Guru Droha. Guru Droha means criticizing the Guru. Can you please explain this? Yeah, because if you criticize the Guru, then all their papas come to you. Simple. That's why don't criticize the Guru for one's own thing. This may be a belief, doesn't matter. But Tattva Bodha says that. So whatever little papa the Guru may have done or continue to do, like step, not consciously, but inadvertently. Maybe the Guru opened the mouth and a mosquito went in. Uh-oh, non-veg Guru. Okay. So, or maybe the Guru stepped on a insect. Something happened. Insect got instant moksha without even the Guru's knowledge. Some small papas may be there. Just like the punyas of the Guru go to the devotee. Why? We know the way. Why are the feet? Right? The papas go also. The papas go to those who do droha or ninda of the Guru. That is, I don't think we need to take that too seriously. The real reason Why I do not criticize the source of the knowledge is because if I criticize the source of the knowledge, then I will not get the knowledge because I will not have Shraddha. That is why all these stories are made to help ourselves. Have Shraddha. Shraddha means a trust, a devotion, a reverence to the source of the knowledge must be there for me to prosper in the knowledge, to internalize, to assimilate. But if I keep finding fault with the guru, oh, they don't know what they're saying. Oh, they said this, they did this. Everything becomes a huge complaint, a huge critique. Then the guru is not affected. Who is affected? The person who is the critic is affected. That is why it is given like that. How to discipline the mind? Meditate. Meditation, there's no replacement for that. Meditate, where you focus on having a say over the ways of the mind. That's why initially it is through japa, mantra japa. Even though it looks boring and sounds tedious, that is how one grows to discipline the mind. Two kinds of obstacles come. One is called laya. Laya is what happens in Vedanta class also. Sleep. The other one is called vikshepa, distraction. Laya and vikshepa are the two obstacles in meditation. Adi Shankara's grand guru gives upaya. Upaya means parihara, and that didn't help. Okay. Parihara means solution. Yes. To both these obstacles. Laye sambodhayet chittam. In sleep, what should you do? Keep some water. Splash, splash. Oh, but I'm asleep. How can I do that? Tell the significant other to do that. Laye sambodhayet chittam. Wake yourself up somehow. There are all these devices, for drivers who go to sleep. Something prick somewhere. Maybe you can buy that and then do that. If the head falls down, there's a little alarm that goes off. Or a small shock or something, I don't know what. Use any means necessary. Laye sambodhayet chittam. Vikshiptam. Okay, I don't have the problem of laya, I'm awake, but hey, I'm distracted. Vikshiptam cha shamayet punaha. Vikshiptam means it's distracted. And I have to bring it back. What to bring it back to? That's why the mantra is the anchor. So I bring it back to the mantra because there's something to hold on to. Initially, one needs that. Vikshiptam cha shamayet punaha. And then there are bubbles of joy suddenly coming in the meditation. Ooh, ha, wonderful. What does Gaudapadacharya say? Ignore them. And there are bubbles of sorrow and anxiety coming also in the meditation, which is the reason why people do not like to meditate. Because it means being with oneself. And that's always scary. Sakashayam vijaniyat. Know the mind to be along with the unconscious, along with its shadow self, the unconscious mind. Sakashayam vijaniyat. Praptva na vichalayet. So if you get a bad memory or a difficult situation, do not go probing into when did this start? Is it because of karma or my free will? Or where to go with this? How to resolve this? Don't go there that time. Right now, what are you doing? Meditating. Let that go. Come back to the present. Nasvadayet rasam tatra. So when pleasant experiences come, don't start enjoying them, because there is a deeper vantage point, a deeper immersion is available to you if you let these bubbles go. Nissango pragyaya bhavet. Be the wise one who is asanga, uninvolved with the pleasant and the unpleasant. No priya, no apriya. Where? In meditation. Very beautiful it is. So this is Mandukya Karika. Very, very nice. Something to remember. I once I was in some big interfaith meeting, parliament of some world religions. And there they said, some teacher could not come, they could not get a visa. Can you please lead a meditation for this group? I said, okay, no problem. It was about 40 people in the room. I went there and started to meditate, and then was leading them through the meditation. Then I thought there must be some earthquake. Everything was shaking, gada 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 gada, noise was coming. So I opened the eyes. Everybody was shaking vigorously. And I said, stop, 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 stop. What's happening? This is how our teacher taught us to meditate. Rocking and shaking. So then I said, can you meditate on your own? Yeah, no problem. I said, okay, please carry on. And I slipped out of there. So this is how to discipline the mind. The idea is where you, and they didn't call me the next day. The idea is this, that if I'm able to do this for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, even 1 minute, and I practice this, then even in a non-meditative state, my meditation practice blesses me and spills over into the non-meditative state as well, so that there is not much of a difference between meditative and non-meditative states. How to not worry too much about loved ones' health. Put them in the lap of God. However you visualize Bhagavan, Ishvara, every time that you have a worry, oh no, OMG, any OMG moment comes, mentally visualize plucking them from wherever they are sitting and putting them in Bhagavan's lap. Do this with all the loved ones. Do this with the parents. Do this with everybody. Whoever is sick, whoever is not well, whoever has any scary symptoms, do this. Because really speaking, you are not really taking care of anybody. Bhagavan is. And pray. Pray. Prayer is always very nice, because the immediate effect of prayer is a feeling of relief. I have done something. And I have acted upon this anxiety. I have acted upon this fear. Any story about Pujya Swamiji will be highly appreciated. I'm sure it will. Some other time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Good night to all. Somebody please make these disappear.